office. Slightly disagreeing, but that's okay. I won't hold you. I won't hold it against you.
We can move forward.
As friends?
We're gonna get nowhere with this conversation.
No, we're not. You literally can't change my mind. I'd be more than happy to debate like The Office against The Big Bang Theory, but Friends is just it's not even close. So you can just stop worrying about it.
It's iconic and all that, but you haven't changed my mind.
We'll talk about it later. We don't need to get into it. But what we are going to get into right now is a question of the day, because it is time.
I love it. Not putting it on the show log ever. I love it.
No, why would I do that? My question of the day for you: if you could pick any animal in the world to come back as in the afterlife, or just be right now, what would that animal be?
I haven't got first instinct has to be a lion.
It makes sense.
Last name lion.
Last name lion. First name Harry.
King of the jungle. Dominant. Just all the above. You're at the top of the food chain. I don't know. What's like longevity wise? Like, I don't know. I guess like
a turtle,
crocodile or something.
A tortoise.
Turtle. But you have like predators.
I mean, would you want to live for like 180 years though? I wouldn't.
That's true. I don't know. It depends on what kind of life I was living. Would a flying squirrel like be kind of fun? Maybe for like a day.
At that point, why not just
maybe like an eagle?
Yeah, I was gonna say at that point, why not?
I feel like
be
an
like a
eagle
hawk or an
would
eagle?
be. Eagle would be really fun because you are at the top of the food chain and you could fly. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, eagle would
You don't
be
live
cool.
forever. All right, what's yours?
I would probably choose like a big ass whale or a shark, something in the ocean, because I mean we've never really fully experienced the ocean.
What about like a giant squid? Like we know those exist and they live like at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Explore the depths of the ocean that no one gets to see.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, something like that. A deep sea creature like an anglerfish. That'd be fun.
I was watching a TikTok about the megalodon.
That thing is scary.
People thinking it's alive still, but he was disproving it.
The Loch Ness monster.
Thinking about deep sea lately.
Loch Ness monster's a thing. Bigfoot. Do you consider that an animal?
No, because you have to have proof that it's real for this question.
Okay. You know what? I didn't provide any boundaries or rules to this, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That was pretty quick.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty quick. An eagle and a shark. I'll officially say shark. So
wait, what a species of shark though? Like great white, tiger shark, bull shark? What are you thinking?
I don't know. Hammerheads are kind of cool.
Yeah, but
tiger sharks. I mean, tiger sharks are like pretty vicious. But you know what? I'm just gonna go with great white. That's like
great white,
the king of the ocean.
The king. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll take that. All right, great white shark, big ass great white shark, Jaws. Just be eating shit.
Exactly. You're probably in Australia.
Most likely. Or South Africa. South Africa would actually probably be more likely. Was it Seal Island that has the
thing?
Oh, yeah, Seal Island. Have you ever watched Shark Week? Come on. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not like in full. I've seen Shark Week, but like a couple episodes.
I used to watch Shark Week religiously as a child. Like probably like 10 to 18.
It reminds me of Step Brothers.
Yes, Step Brothers, great movie.
I was watching Shark Week.
Why are you so sweaty? I was watching Cops. Brennan put his nuts on my drum set. All right, this got off the rails.
Okay,
so let's move on.
Let's get on topic, huh?
How about our gaming news? There's been a few things over the course of the last week. We briefly touched on it last episode with Microsoft and Discord, but I've had a week to kind of mull it over and think about it. And the more and more I think about Microsoft buying Discord for $10 billion, the more I feel like it's a fantastic idea for them.
Yep. I think there's a lot of potential, and we've been thinking about ways that they could integrate Discord into Xbox. I was reading some tweets too, and they were talking about how with Discord you could I don't know, like if they left it alone, if Microsoft kind of left it alone, like the
Just let it be.
community, yeah, and there'd be a lot of the community that would follow, and you get a lot of credibility with that Microsoft brand. Like you wouldn't have to do too much to it. It's a great platform.
Yeah, I agree. I think they really shouldn't do much to it if they do end up acquiring it. I think the biggest thing is that honestly, I feel like they should just like sit on it for a year until like they fully understand and are able to incorporate it properly into some of their platforms, and just like Microsoft Teams, for example.
Yeah,
I don't know if you use Teams much. I use Teams for work.
That was my first thing. My first thought was maybe they could improve Teams, or Teams could improve Discord.
Yeah, I think if I were to choose one, I would say Discord is definitely better than Teams. Teams is okay. It's not great. And I think that both platforms could benefit from some functionalities from the other, if that makes sense. Like, for perfect example, like we're using Discord for our video call right now. If like there's a dedicated chat section within the video call, that'd be great. Which I think they'd easily be able to implement just based off of what they do with Teams.
From Teams. Yep.
But on the other way around, like Discord, for me, there's not much better for just general communication than Discord. And like Teams is kind of set up to be like a community based or teams based, I guess, for lack of a better term and literally the name. But like I don't even use those functions. I just use it as just like chatting with people in video calls. Like that's pretty much it. It's for me, the way that I personally use it at work, it's like I don't use any of the files. I don't use any like the different channels. Whereas if I were in Discord, like I'm using all the different channels that are within Discord servers. So I just feel like at least the UI of Discord is better than Microsoft Teams. So I think it'd be really interesting to see how they would essentially help each other to both become better and just pull different pieces from the other. Because I don't think it would be a good idea for them to just completely turn Teams into Discord or Discord into Teams, because they do still have their own purposes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Well, what would be the point of that?
Yeah.
So like, how do you think that they will shift Discord? If they'll change it, how can it be more broadly used within Microsoft, whether that's obviously with Xbox?
Yeah, I think the glaring obvious one is to turn Xbox Party Chat into Discord. Like just have Discord ingrained within the Xbox ecosystem. And I think the first step of them doing that took place this week. And Xbox officially announced that they're going to make Party Chat and free-to-play multiplayer games completely free to use, even outside of Xbox Live Gold memberships, or moving forward, I guess, Xbox Network, however they plan to call that. But I think that's the first step in actually doing it. And apparently people agree with me on that IGN tweet that I replied to, because that was just a general thought that I had, and however many likes we got on that thing, people were like, oh, yeah, that actually makes sense. So I think that is a big change. Well, really not big, but the most
it's like the first thought.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't you do that? You have a great communication system in Discord. Personally, I'd
like to see it. I'd like to see it actually on like Xbox.
Yeah,
like, and them use it through that.
I mean, you could literally call it like Party Chat by Discord. Like,
sure.
Like that's such an easy brand integration there.
Yeah.
And you think about, like, obviously Discord is mobile and PC based. I mean, Mac too. You can use it on a Mac, but you have to be on a sort of computer. Whereas if you have somebody who has a console, just think about your average gamer who has an Xbox. Do they really know what Discord is?
Probably not. I mean, I didn't learn about it until, probably actually using it on a normal basis 2 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I've probably within the last 6 months for me is when I've like actually downloaded it and had it on my computer and were using it, but
Yep.
definitely with you is how I've used it the most. It was more of just like this is like, I know what it is and I know how it works, but I don't really use it. But now we've obviously evolved that. But like, even think about like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I had no idea what Discord was, and I've had an Xbox for however long. And so you get that brand recognition with so many people who have Xboxes but don't know what Discord is. I think it would just benefit them because you're going to get more and more users to download it. And if you have a good experience, if they can integrate it properly and have a good UI on Xbox and have it be a good experience for the people who are using it, then absolutely. Like, why wouldn't you try and go use it elsewhere?
Question for you, because I don't know with Discord. I've mainly used it for trying to find a graphics card, but do you know how they're making money off of Discord? Like what is monetized?
So there are different pieces within Discord, and I don't want to speak a ton about this because I really don't know a lot at all. But there are pieces within Discord that you can like purchase. Like there are premium sections within,
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go
speak
there.
too much on it.
I'm not going to because I don't know.
I don't know really either. That's what I'm curious, because Microsoft bought it for $10 billion. I'm just thinking, how is Discord making money? Because right now, like, just as casual users, like, I don't even see. I mean, there's not advertisements that pop up to us. There's not, like, we're not really paying to use any functionality of it. So, just curious. We'll have to see.
We're gonna look into it more to figure that out. But I do know for a fact, like, there are pieces kind of similar to like a Twitch chat where you can like purchase things within Discord. That's one of the things that Gilded had kind of prides themselves on, is that everything within Gilded is completely free, and you don't have to purchase something like you do in Discord. So
Gotcha.
That's what I'm going to say about it, because that's what I know. I think we just need to look more into it to figure out what exactly it is. I know there's somebody probably listening saying, "Oh, you guys are idiots. It's this." But sorry.
Throw it in our chat.
Yeah. So I think this is a really interesting one to keep an eye on, because I think this will affect more or less a ton of different people, just because of how big the brand of Microsoft is and what Discord can be and has the potential to be. Another interesting one that I thought was, okay, could Discord, if Microsoft does purchase, disclaimer, I don't think they have yet officially, it's just rumored. If they do, could this be something that kind of pushes Slack to the side and takes over Slack? I've never really used Slack a ton. I
don't even really know.
It's fairly similar. It's a business focused. Think about if you took Discord and used it strictly for business, but you have to pay for it, and it's actually fairly expensive to use Slack from a corporate standpoint. I think you can just purchase it and use it as like a text to text communication avenue for free, I think. But like anything voice, or I don't even know if they do video, but anything. And if you have a certain amount of users, I think you have to pay on top of that. So it gets pretty expensive. So I'm curious if Discord kind of takes on a Discord for business type look with Microsoft, could it take over Slack? Which I think it absolutely has the potential to. So that's an interesting one. But we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to continue to talk about this because I think this is really interesting.
They would already have the platform?
Absolutely. They do. Microsoft has got the resources to implement it and actually make it viable. So why not?
They might have a couple of resources, Kevin.
A resource or two.
Just laying around.
What do you
somewhere,
think?
Maybe.
All right. Well, that's our Microsoft to Xbox Discord conversation. We'll continue that later on. One piece of news that is pretty timely, primarily from this weekend, is COD League, CDL. Minnesota Rocker, we've talked about them before, our friends over in the Call of Duty League. they have made a roster move, and holy crap, has it worked out for them. They were kind of sitting at the bottom of the CDL really over the course of the last couple weeks, and they replaced Major Maniac on their roster with Standy, who is a 19-year-old kid, and he is absolutely slaying in the COD League right now.
So pause.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I still don't really know COD League that well. So like what are we in right now? Like what are they doing? Are they just in season? Like what are they?
Yeah, they're in season.
What's happening?
They're in season right now. So COD League primarily, for the most part, unless they do like a major week, they pretty much play on the weekends. And so they played this weekend, and they'll do like it might be 3 games. It's like 2 or 3 games that each team has over the course of the weekend. I don't know the schedule that well.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
But Rocker, I've just kind of taken a liking to them just from some of the interactions we've had with them on the online, and and I just like their brand. I think their brand is cool. But they were not doing well, and they have a good roster with Attach and Priesta in accuracy, but Major Maniac ended up getting benched, and they brought in this 19-year-old kid who nobody had really heard of, but he is a demon. The kid is absolutely slaying in the COD League right now, and Rocker beat Optic Chicago and Dallas Empire this weekend, and Optic is just they're always really good, and then Dallas Empire won the COD League last year, so they're reigning champs. And for a team kind of sitting towards the bottom of the rankings here to do that in one weekend after one change in the roster.
They've moved up, man.
It's pretty impressive.
They're number 6 right now.
Yeah, they're climbing the ranks right now, and it has worked, the change, that's for sure, because Standy is, I watched their game against the match, sorry. It's a match. I'm so used to saying game with sports, but I watched the match with them against Optic, and Standy is good. I'll tell you that. He was there.
Go ahead.
I saw some clips today from their match against the Empire, and it looked like Standy just had like aimbot. His aim is just like so sticky. He's really good. So. That'll be an interesting storyline to keep an eye on, because a lot of people, when they heard that they were bringing him in, they were kind of just like, who is that? He's literally like, you hear him talk, he sounds like a kid. He is a kid. He's 19, but he is doing some serious work in the Call of Duty League right now.
I'm pulling up the roster right now.
They're starting 4 now are Standy, Attach, Accuracy, and Priesta.
I've heard of Priesta.
I think last year, he was FaZe. I can't remember. He came.
I'm gonna look up this kid.
He's new to Rocker.
Eli Benz.
Who is that?
Standy? You see a picture of this kid.
Go to Rocker's Twitter page. You'll find a picture of him. He looks like he's 12.
He's goofy.
But he is insane. I think it was like the second round of their match against Optic. He got artillery strike. He had kill streak going. He was at one point he was on like a 10 kill streak. I'm like, Jesus, man. It's like you're
in the CDL
19 and doing this against Scump, who is like the greatest CDL player to ever play. So it's fun to watch, definitely. So catch the CDL on YouTube whenever it's on, because I highly recommend, if you have any interest in it, watch Rocker right now, because they're just killing it. So that's something to keep an eye on. We will be. But let's transition here into our next topic. This one I don't think we didn't really talk about this much before we went live, but I came across a headline that kind of reminded me of something that I think it came out like earlier this week, but the Switch Pro, so Nintendo Switch, and I don't know if Pro is necessarily the right thing to call it right now. I don't think they've really confirmed the name of it, but it's essentially like a Switch Pro version. And that's rumored to come out holiday of 2021, which is really interesting because they're really upping the specs on it. So that it's going to go from it's currently the current Nintendo Switch is a 6.2 inch 720p LCD panel. So it's I mean, if you've seen a Switch, it's a relatively decent size screen. So it's going to go from 6.2 inches to a 7-inch display on the Pro version. And the big thing is that it's jumping from an LCD 720p panel to an OLED display, and it's going to be 4K. And they're introducing, supposedly, they haven't confirmed this yet, obviously, but they're supposedly introducing NVIDIA graphics into it, which also supports DLSS, which just completely makes the screen look so much better. The resolution on it just looks so good with DLSS. You can get it on a graphics card if a game supports it. But if you don't know, DLSS stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling, which you don't necessarily need to know that, but all you need to know is that it makes your game look really, really good.
Well, that's crazy. I can't even think of. I mean, the last thing that I would say would be the most advanced one I had would have been like the original PSP.
Like a handheld
the last
device, you mean?
handheld gaming. So I can't even imagine 4K on such a small screen.
4K on a 7-inch display. Wow. It's like, I mean, I'm trying to think of like on.
That's amazing.
And I don't know.
I think about
I think about like my phone. Like what?
Yeah.
I can't I don't know what the exact measurements of this are, but it's obviously bigger than this. And definitely like this, an iPhone is not a 4K display. Like that's impressive. I'll tell you that.
Can you imagine having that as a kid? Like our kids are going to be so spoiled.
Yeah, I mean,
my God,
these gaming consoles are insane. I feel like
that's amazing.
I feel like both of our kids are going to be PC gamers, though.
Probably. How much is a Switch right now? Do you know?
I think it's like 400.
Is it? Oh,
something like that.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see. Hold on. He believes the Switch Pro would be. Oh no. It must be like 250. They said the Switch Pro will be at least $100 more expensive. They're looking at close to 400.
Okay. Well, I think that's at least that's like what you can find it right now. Switch, because of the pandemic, Switches are insanely popular. I mean, Nintendo's sales are off the charts right now. But Christy and I were talking about the possibility of maybe getting a Switch because I know she loves Animal Crossing. She played it on her older roommates, and I think if you have a Switch, you just have to own and love Animal Crossing. But we were even talking about it 2 weeks ago or something like that. That I was like, hey, maybe we get a Switch, and that's something that like I know would keep her busy when there's nothing to do, and
or when you want to jump on
play some Smash
Xbox with us
and all that. Yeah. But ultimately we decided not to and wait because I know that there's this Switch Pro that's coming out. So if they do come out with that, hopefully the price of the regular Switch will go down. I'd love to see that. And then
the Switch Pro is going to come out for $400, and you can buy an Xbox Series X for $5, or you could buy an Xbox Series S for $3. That's wild.
Okay. I don't know if we should go comparing the Switch to the. Well, I mean, I guess you can. It's just different kinds of games.
Bro, I'm just thinking of the. I mean, it's mobility versus
the mobility.
Not mobility. That's all.
It's definitely a big thing.
I mean, that's really expensive to have a handheld device that's 7 inches, but I think about the value maybe of that, like as a kid, because a kid, you just ride around in the back of your parents' car going wherever they need to go. Like, I don't know. I think I might be willing to spend $400 on something like that. I feel like I'd be willing to spend $400 if I'm an adult and responsible for that. But if you like getting that for a kid, maybe you go with the regular Switch, pay $300.
Yeah.
It's expensive though. Oh my gosh.
I mean, you think about like how many kids are walking around sitting in restaurants at the dinner table with iPads.
Yeah.
So it's like for that, I mean, for essentially the price of an iPad, you can get a Switch, which is portable, and then you can then plug it into your TV and have essentially like a home gaming console too. I think you just have to look at it different ways.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that could be absolutely worth the investment, especially when you got parents shelling out the money for an iPad to
Right.
I mean, yes, they can still use that, and I mean, it's not to say they wouldn't use the Switch, but an iPad's a little bit more versatile in the functionality. So that's something to think about too with that.
That's interesting, huh? Okay.
Lots
I didn't even know that. You've informed me.
lots to keep an eye on, especially with the Switch Pro, not Twitch Pro. Switch Pro is an interesting one, but we're not here to talk about Switch Pro. Let's talk about Battlefield. How about that?
I think that we have two different things in it always comes back to Call of Duty, right? So this is kind of our idea of talking about Battlefield, because I literally just said to Kevin, I was like, I'm gonna look up when Battlefield 6 is coming out, and
why do you ask that? Because right now Warzone is kind of boring,
and we'll get into it at the end here. So stay tuned and listen through the whole thing. But let's talk about how exciting Battlefield is, though.
Yeah, I think there's some serious potential here with Battlefield 6. That's for sure.
I just think that they've been working on it for a while, and then we just found out that EA's delayed Need for Speed to put all their resources behind Battlefield 6, which, if you think about the timing of that, with Warzone and with COD kind of being bland right now, gets people excited for Battlefield 6. They just announced that COD is going to be a World War II.
Yeah. Vanguard.
What did we say? Vanguard?
World War II. A lot of people are kind of iffy on that, of whether or not it's going to be good going back into even further back in time from the Cold War to World War II. And I mean, we mentioned it last week. A lot of people just in general have complained about Call of Duty being set in World War II again, and they don't necessarily like that. So could this be really good timing? I mean,
yeah.
Take that kind of with a grain of salt, though, because COD 20, well, I guess that's coming out later this year. I feel like the more and more I think about it, it actually does make more sense, because they should be coming out relatively about the same time. For whatever reason, I was thinking that the new COD wouldn't be coming out until next year, but I'm wrong on that for sure. So
yeah,
I mean, the more and more I think about it, it just makes more sense to for Battlefield. Like, could this be really, really good timing to bring another game that is set in the modern era that people are going to be more interested in?
So let's bring up the rumors so people have some context around this Battlefield 2.
Yeah.
So the rumors is that, one, they'd have 128 player maps, massive.
Yep.
There's some rumors about Battle Royale. And then, like you mentioned, with the modern setting, what I was reading was that it's possibly, I can't remember what the word they used was, like a soft copy or soft launch or something of Battlefield 3. So anybody that remembers Battlefield 3, which I loved, I mean, if you were to basically make a much better Battlefield 3 with, and I'm going to read this quote too. Let me read this quote from, what is this from? Tech Radar. So the CEO of the EA CEO, Andrew Wilson, was talking about it, and he was talking about the latest consoles. So that's another thing, kind of a downside in some ways for people that don't have, a PS5 or Xbox Series X or have upgraded to PC. This Battlefield 6 and all these games, I mean, it's going to be the same thing, Kev. Like, all these games are going to be made for the new consoles. So you're not going to be getting as much potential out of these games, right?
Yep.
So he said, quote, it'll bring massive and immersive battles to life with more players than ever. And he mentioned the maps were with unprecedented scale. He said that the next vision of Battlefield takes all the destruction, player agency, and vehicle and weapon combat that the franchise is known for and elevates it to another level. So that's what gets me excited, because I've always liked the Battlefield series, because it's a lot. It's like almost even more. It's more realistic than COD. I mean, with the destruction of buildings and I don't know. I just feel like the dynamics are more realistic. So taking that to another level is going to be wild.
Yeah, I agree. And as you were talking about that, I'm reading a little bit more. So this is on Charlie Intel, which is obviously COD news. If you are interested in Battlefield with them, it's COD news for Dexerto.
Yeah.
If you're interested in Battlefield, look up Bravo Intel, and that's Battlefield 6 news, which is their official Battlefield Dexerto channel. But there's a really interesting article here that a leaker who doesn't have an identity, but he's so this says this leak is not verified, but a moderator on the Battlefield 6 subreddit says that the user who posted all of the leaks were able to show proof that the source of the leak is someone who is close to the game and the project. So what he said, the description of Battlefield 6, the leaker gave, essentially the game, which doesn't have an official title yet, is going to be a hub for most, if not all, previous Battlefield titles. You'll be able to boot up servers playing exclusively 1942, or even have the option to play with settings so one team has access to 1942 weapons and vehicles, and the other team has access to Battlefield 6 weapons and vehicles.
Whoa.
Battlefield 3 weapons and vehicles. An example given was teams fighting Panzers versus M1 Abrams. Additionally, these settings include core gameplay mechanics, such as not being able to sprint with 1942 settings and not being able to go prone with Bad Company settings. I'm not sure how this affects balancing issues. So that's interesting.
Weird.
Essentially treating it as a hub for past games. So this is one thing that they have said is going to be like the big it's like the big new feature that's going to be a part of the core gameplay experience. So think about Battlefield and how it's always existed with that core gameplay. That is a kind of like a traditional multiplayer game.
Yeah.
So one thing that EA has been doing is sending out surveys to people that are essentially just gauging interest on what is it here? I've got it right here, and I want to say it the right way, but so they're gauging interest in free to play and what that element is. So whether or not just my thinking here now is the battle royale, if they have it, going to be a part of that core gameplay, which is something that you have to pay for, or will it be free to play? I think what we've talked about many times on this podcast is that free to play is the way of the future. So I think that will likely be the way that they go, and definitely public's opinion. Battle Pass, which Call of Duty and Fortnite have both proven to be a very, very profitable form of implementing essentially a paywall, or not necessarily paywall, but microtransactions, a platoon and clan system, which is like regiments in Call of Duty, evolving maps, which I think is really interesting because Battlefield, to me, just like the destruction of maps that you can do, has always been better at doing that, at least the map development, than Call of Duty has. So I think the map is really interesting because they could, if they do it properly, blow Activision and all these other Call of Duty developers out of the absolute water with the maps. And then there's a couple other things in here. Evolving maps was the last, or not the last one, the second to last. The last one was weapon blueprints, which would obviously be integrated into a Battle Pass system, similar to how Call of Duty does it. So lots of similarities between the two games for sure. That
I don't even know how they do that much. Like, how do they do that much volume of just? That's a lot of content.
It's a ton. But you think about, think about it this way. They're developing one game. And if you look at Call of Duty, they have Modern Warfare, Cold War, all going into Warzone. And then,
yeah, but isn't that kind of almost the same idea that they're doing to make it a hub of all these other past Battlefields? They're not
I would say, yeah, definitely. Bringing different elements from previous games into the newest generation of it. Absolutely. It's the same concept. A little bit of a different way of thinking. But honestly, if I were to just thinking through it all, I do think I like Battlefield's thinking just a little bit better because you have options from all the other previous Battlefields and not just the last 2 games, which you may or may not be a fan of. I mean, there are people who love Modern Warfare and hate Cold War and vice versa. So that's something that it could be a deciding factor for people when they're deciding between, do I want to play Call of Duty or do I want to play Battlefield?
Mm-hmm. Well,
before Halo Infinite's Battle Royale gets released.
All that to say, I'm excited about Battlefield 6. Now, if you're ready, I'd like to go into why we're kind of talking about Battlefield 6, which is
absolutely
because of Call of Duty right now.
Yeah. The state of Call of Duty, Warzone in particular, I think it's in a really weird spot. The fact that they've been dragging out this zombie thing for literally weeks now kind of sucks.
Wait.
Yeah.
Pause. Let me set the whole tone for this conversation. NRG Isaac tweets, Warzone is in the worst state ever.
I actually have this tweet pulled up. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up so you can see it on screen. Okay. So if you don't know who we're talking about, Iceman Isaac, he just joined NRG. Check him out because he's awesome. But I've got this up on screen right now, so read it.
So he said cheaters, desync, dev errors, packet loss, dead silence, stopping power, FFAR everywhere, AUG snipers, SBMM cranked, fist gulag, self revive everywhere, armor plates nowhere, and don't get me started on melees. But hey, zombies in downtown.
With a little celebration face. That I don't think he could have. I don't think he could have said it any better. And so, what kind of got us started on this way of thinking? He has a reply here, and he says it's a race between Battlefield and Halo. Whoever gets a well-made BR out first will have wild success. I think he's absolutely right. But Call of Duty will always be a big game just because of the franchise that it is and how well it's done over the course of the last year. With Warzone specifically. I think that while Battlefield and Halo, whoever comes out with a better Battle Royale first, they will have serious success. But the thing is, they're going to be taking away from each other a little bit. So are you going to have your COD lifers who are only wanting to play Call of Duty? Or are you going to have the people who are jumping around from each game to game? So I'm really curious to see which, we've talked about this before, who's going to be getting your time because they're all going to be battling for it. So will the introduction of Battlefield and or Halo make Activision just bring up the Warzone resources and make it even better in a better experience, which I hope so.
It better be.
Because Warzone, it's a great game, but I feel like they're just kind of lost right now. And I hate to say it, Warzone's kind of boring to play. Honestly, I have essentially committed to teaching myself keyboard and mouse on Warzone because I'm bored of it. And it's something just to change it up. And for me, at least over the course of the last week, Warzone's been fun again because I'm doing something new with keyboard and mouse and not on controller. So like that's been cool, but that has nothing to do with Activision or the developers or whatever they're implementing within the game. That's something that I've changed on my end. So it's not fun right now.
It's monotonous. I mean, for people that have played it as much as we have, I mean, it's just the same drops. The circles right now suck. That
I don't know if they've changed anything with the circles, but
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Maybe I don't know if they have or not. But at the same time, like, there's just all these errors and there's all these things that they haven't fixed.
Dev error,
and
love that.
They continue to come back, and like I don't know what it takes to create a game, and I don't know what it takes to. I mean, it's got to be extremely demanding. So I can't say too much on that front. But at the same time, like just for a user, just for like one of the players, it's just this game has been out for a year. They really haven't added like too much. And now it's like everybody's begging for this thing to change, and we're begging for the new map. And now you're going to draw out this idea, this concept of the zombies. And we talked about it last week and probably the week before. But like, you're dragging out the concept of the zombies and no one cares. No one wants anything to do with it. And you're going to do the whole season 2 or the whole end of season 1 around that. And nobody cares.
And the worst part is, and this is just my own OCD, the zombies' travel patterns make no sense.
Well,
they go from the ship to
with
prison.
That's with rumors in mind, though, Kevin. Which
that's not even rumors. That's what I'm looking at over the course of the last couple weeks. That's the zombies starting at the ship, going to the prison, going to hospital, back into downtown. Like, what are they? What are they doing?
Yeah, where are they going?
What's the purpose?
Yeah.
And if they're not just spreading and staying in places and essentially taking over the map, which would make sense to me, why are they just going to random places?
Right. Like, are they just going to go set off a nuke somewhere accidentally? Or it doesn't make sense. It's one like little horde.
Just
this is what I was telling. Our buddy. What?
Randomly moving across the map, this little horde.
Yeah. And I was telling Joe this the other day. I was like, maybe they, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I guess it's like one little horde. Shoot, I completely lost my train of thought. I would have got it. It would make sense if they like actually, this is what I was thinking. If they went and crossed off every single different POI.
Yes.
And they spread, right? And like
they go to hospital, they stay in hospital.
Yes.
Then they go to Superstore, they stay in Superstore.
Sure.
Go to Storage Town, stay in Storage Town. Absolutely. That would make sense. Notice how I did that in like geographical order? What Activision's not doing?
Yes. What the point I was going to make was if they did this the way they're doing it right now, where they're going to like one place at a time, they should have done it a whole lot quicker. Instead of drawing it out over 4 or 5 weeks, do that in like a week. Like do it in the Outbreak event, like the 13 days. You had 2 weeks to do that. You could have jumped, each POI, and then they could have got to dam and broken the dam, and then the whole thing could have blown up. But now we keep dropping in and nothing's changed. It's like they've gone to hospital.
Great.
I don't care. I don't care. It's like the slowest story of all time. It's terrible.
They're at hospital. I like. Very nice.
And you have to activate it. So like I get it to where like I think on the other side, I would have been annoyed if they drew this out over 5 weeks and they were crossing off places and there were just zombies everywhere when you dropped in.
Well, that's what Fortnite did, which is what I think ruined the game, at least for me.
Yeah.
So I think by incorporating the activate piece of that, where you actually have to start the zombie event, I think they thought, well, that's gonna stop the whole Fortnite problem.
Yeah.
But it's not enough. It's not enough change. There's like you said, we don't care. It is what it is. It's great. They're at hospital. They're able to send creators scrubs with a little note, or little piggy banks with a note. Like that's cool. That's good interaction for them. But it's boring.
What are you doing for us? What are you doing for the regular? Like it's kind of exciting for a streamer maybe, and then they probably get over it too, like pretty quick.
Yeah, they're like, okay, we're gonna take forever with this, but you can have this cool reactive camo over here.
Like, are they doing a lot? Like to me, I don't even see them doing like a lot of marketing or anything like around this, like as they change locations or anything. So like I log into the game and I'm on a lot. Like I play this game a lot, and they just are randomly at hospital or downtown. I'm like, I don't care. Like, and they just randomly gone there. If I could follow the story and you guys put it up on social media or something like everywhere where I would just see it.
Yeah,
that would make more sense. And like speed it up.
It's definitely on social, but the thing is that you have to be connected within the Call of Duty community to actually come across it, because they're sending it to creators who, while I'm sure they're great creators, they're not the staple names that you hear of when you think of Call of Duty, at least for like the first couple that they've sent out. So
yeah. But your base is so large.
Yeah,
like
well,
your
and
player base is so large.
And that's the thing too. Like, I think it's awesome that they're incorporating some of these smaller creators into this, and they're sending them these things.
Yeah.
But they're tweeting about it. They're getting the creators to tweet about it, and then that's just kind of it. Like, other than that, I haven't seen anything of like hyping up the zombies or hyping up changes. Like, there was that one news reel that they played as a teaser to the boat actually hitting land. And the zombies then moving, but we didn't see the zombies move for a week and a half. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it's so slow that there's no buzz around it.
Yeah.
Like, they may be sending it to small creators, but they haven't created any buzz from their normal player base. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's just like, this is terrible. This is so boring.
It's not great.
So anyway,
that's why we're talking about Battlefield.
That is why we're talking about Battlefield, and there needs to be changes. I personally still like the AUG and the FFAR meta, but
I love the FFAR. I've never really been a big fan of the AUG. I just kind of use it because it's good, and that's the thing to use right now. I'm really not a huge fan of it. The thing to me that's so annoying is really that time to kill with the AUG, where it's like you pop your head the wrong way and it's blown off.
Yes.
And it's like you don't even have a time to react, which kind of goes back to the DMR meta, which if you had to pick one, DMR meta or AUG meta, I don't know. I might have picked the DMR meta.
I'd pick the AUG meta. The DMR was too strong, man. It was. The range on that was insane. Like, at least with the AUG, you have the kick to where, like, you can't be beaming kids from 300 meters away and expect to down them because it's hard to hit from that far. So, anyway.
It's a good point.
So, yeah, that, and then obviously, like, we talked about cheaters and all that, and then you get to these lobbies too, which have been a problem. And then the one site that has been part of calling people out, basically, which was SBMM Warzone, which we've talked about, is now getting sued by Activision almost. Or they're
not getting sued. They're just being told they have to shut the site down. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I think
could be sued.
It could be
if they want.
Activision's lawyers reached out, which if you go to literally right now, if you go to spmmwarzone.com, the first thing on there. Oh wait,
is it off?
spmmwarzone.com no longer exists. So the lawyers won. I was on it yesterday, and it was up. So
see ya.
Yeah. It does not exist anymore. So the site has been taken down. You know what? I'm going to pull up their Twitter page right now. So the biggest thing, when I was on it yesterday, there was a header. Pretty much every page you go to, and it said, look at our Twitter. You'll see the whole explanation. But essentially, Activision's trying to shut us down. And I think they had tweeted about it. I'm curious if the Twitter account even works anymore. No, Twitter account no longer exists either. So goodbye.
Wow.
I think this was Friday. That
I feel so bad for those guys.
Oh my God, it sucks because they had so much success with it. People loved it. I mean, everyone was using it. They are the reason why you hear, "Oh, I'm in a diamond lobby."
Yeah,
they are the ones who classified that and actually put a description behind the level or the skill level of these lobbies. So it sucks. Essentially, I think it was Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong. They tweeted out and said, "Hey, Activision reached out to us. Their lawyers have sent us some info, and we're being told to shut down." The bad part is we've tried to partner with Activision. We're trying to do everything that we can to follow the rules and just provide some more, more value into the game and into the community. And
they wanted to be partners with Activision.
Yeah,
that's what they asked.
They wanted to partner with them, which, I mean, just because you ask and say, "Oh, I want to be partners with you," doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that. So
right.
I do understand Activision's standpoint there.
Yeah.
But the piece of, "Oh, we're reaching out on a Friday, you have until Monday to shut this down, or we're going to press charges and file like whatever.
A lawsuit or something, whatever
That's kind of shitty, but I mean, clearly heard it here first. This is the first I've heard of it. The site no longer exists. Twitter account doesn't exist anymore. So they followed the rules, and I would imagine on the back end there's tons of conversations going on between them and Activision, and just what can be done. I would imagine they're not just going to give up and are going to try and save the site because people use it.
Dude, the reason it was so successful is because that's what people want. That's what the players are wanting. They want either some kind of ranking system or just want, well, one, people are competitive. But two, it's just like it allowed a lot more transparency into the actual game.
I think that's the biggest thing. And I don't even remember who it was. Somebody had mentioned that you're going to start seeing a lot of people start absolutely frying lobbies because there's going to be a lack of accountability for people, and they're going to get their fucking spaceship of a router and get their
transport into space and time and go to another country.
Yeah, get their VPN router set up with all up in a new country, and they're gonna be playing in Ghana and setting new kill records. So keep an eye out actually for people who are playing on PC. If they're just tearing up lobbies, look at what the ping is on their screen, because if it's really high, they're not necessarily playing on servers based in their country. Not to say that is the foolproof method, but that is a sign of playing on a different server. So just keep an eye out.
Well, if anything, that helped create conversation around and transparency around what, like, honestly, the streamers are doing, and like what's amazing that like it's like the shroud has been lifted a little bit. It's like and I think that's pretty smart, honestly, for the streamers. Like, I would have never known about like what that was or what any of that was about, like changing your VPN and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you just think these guys are really good and they just happen to get lucky and get into good lobbies, but it's intentional.
Yeah.
And they're making money from it, dude. I mean,
yeah.
the YouTube videos and all the things that they create, which is great. I mean, good for them, but like, you pay X number of dollars for this crazy router and VPN and all that, and but these creators making bank. So
yeah, I think the biggest thing with SPMM Warzone is that the problem is that they tried to monetize it, and once you monetize it, once you bring money into it, then it becomes an issue. And Activision's saying, okay, you're going to make money off of this. Well, this is our product,
and
you don't have the right to that. So I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
They went out on a limb, and it came back to bite them in the ass, which I think is an unfortunate thing, because it's something that I think made the community just better and more informed and kept people accountable. So now where's that accountability going to come from? Because it's not coming from Activision with an anti-cheat anytime soon. So will Battlefield 6 have an anti-cheat?
That'd be so interesting. I'm very, very interested to see what that's going to look like. I don't remember a lot of cheaters when we played Battlefield 4 or 5.
No, definitely not. I mean, I really never, like, even like Halo though. Like I at least I never even thought about that. Maybe there were, but I just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But who knows? That's actually a good point. So maybe these games have had it before, and I mean, people just didn't talk about it much. I know like Fortnite has its own anti-cheat though, so Valorant does. So it's like you think now with how easy it is to get hacks and cheats and all of that.
Yeah.
A big AAA title should be able to implement that. So we've talked about it. We don't need to go into it, but it's a changing world. I think
that's the state of Warzone.
Is going to be changing the game.
Hopefully, we'll have exciting things to talk about when they transition over into the Ural Mountains or wherever. I don't know what to expect anymore.
Did you ever think that we would be talking about the next Call of Duty before we got a new Warzone map. We're talking, think about it. We're talking
about
Warzone, which came out, I guess, a year ago, but it's part of Modern Warfare, which has been out for 2 years now.
Yep.
There's been a game since then. We're now, when was that? November. We're now 5 months into that game. Still no changes to Warzone. And we have rumors about COD 2021 coming out this year that we're already talking about. And we still don't have any changes to the map.
It's because they're still on the same cycle, man. Like,
so bad.
That's the multiplayer. Here's the thing. They're so big that they haven't shifted from what the core is, right? Your zombies, your multiplayer. The reason they have to come out with a game so often, well, one, there's multiple developers, but two, because you're trying to change it up in a new game with new multiplayer. You don't necessarily need that now. You just need more investment into Warzone.
Yep.
Warzone is so massive.
Yep.
So they're in the same cycle, which is cool. I mean, I don't mind, but like that's what happens. Like then they come out with I don't know I wouldn't have considered Ghosts a really Call of Duty Ghosts a really successful one, or Advanced Warfare. I never had that, or like Black Ops like 4 or something like. So, I don't know.
All I know is that right now, Warzone kind of sucks. And that's why I'm playing keyboard and mouse, which we can talk about at a later date. But I actually am very much enjoying. And I challenge you to do it once you get your PC built in a couple weeks.
To end on a more positive note, I got 2 more fans for my PC.
Woo-hoo!
My stack of stuff is ready. It's sitting there. I've actually contemplated just starting to build it. And
yeah, I see that pile over your right shoulder.
This is not my PC.
I know.
It's another pile. I just have piles around. I live in piles. It's normal. But I don't know. I'm just getting excited. We figured out officially that we have switched, and now I'm in batch 1. So. For all those that don't know, my graphics card is coming. 4.2.
He's getting it soon, baby.
I've changed. So anyway, no. I don't know if I didn't tell you this, but I messaged in Sean T's Discord with the Patreon, and I asked an update, and they said, for all they know, they're not delayed. So
nice. That's great.
April 2nd. That's in. That's next week.
That's this week.
Is it? Wait,
that's Friday.
Oh my god!
What?
I would lose it.
That's wild. All right, so maybe next episode. Well, is that delivery or is that?
That's the manufacturer delivery date. I think was. I'm pretty sure that was.
So that's probably to him, and then he's got to ship it to you. So
right.
Either next episode or the episode after. 21 or
we'll
22.
See. Maybe because I also have to possibly move into a new apartment, so I don't know if I'm gonna wait. We'll see. It's gonna be really hard to wait, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you got it all sitting there.
If I have the whole thing sitting there, I'm just gonna neglect everything else in my life, probably.
I mean, honestly, it's probably easier to
transport
to build it all, keep the case box, build it all, and make sure it's up and running, and then put it all in the box and move it. Probably. I mean,
good point.
You're just going to cut down on the amount of boxes you're going to have to move.
Good point. Yeah.
Something to think about. All right. We're wrapping this up. This is good conversation. Lots more to come here with Battlefield 6, with Halo, as we've talked about. We'll keep an eye on what Nintendo Switch Pro rumors are, and Xbox and Discord. Not just Xbox, Microsoft and Discord. So keep up with us. Twitch.tv/The Joystick Chronicles right here. You can catch us live every weekend, mostly Sundays, sometimes Monday night. We tweet about what our schedule is. The schedule down below is not accurate, so I need to update that. Twitter, find us at The Joystick Pod. Also, TikTok, Instagram is at The Joystick Chronicles. And on YouTube, you can catch full episodes at any time over on our YouTube channel at The Joystick Chronicles. So come hang out with us. Two gamers having a good time, having some good discussions, so join in on it. And we will catch you guys
on YouTube, living in my piles.
Living in his piles. Right over that right shoulder. Wrong shoulder. Right shoulder.
Just hanging out. It's all good.
In the piles. All right. See you guys later.
All right, y'all. Bye.